Okay, so we are back with the lovely HelloLady. So I'm just gonna get straight back to it. I'll say, happy Men's Awareness Month. Mental Health Awareness Month. But let's get back to I love Saki. Um, Dear me, I was so focused on my words that I forgot in my quest for beauty. Clearly, I wasn't at the best. That I was at my best that night. Um. But I did release a video. Like I'll like put it in a thing or whatever, like the top header or whatever. But anyway, this something else I was still thinking about. I was going to do a live stream today, but I woke up too early, too late in the damn way. So I'll do that like probably like some other time. Probably like later this week or something. But anyway, thus morning came again. Mm. Done with my daily exercise, I went out. Wait, yeah, I went out on an early walk for a change of pace. Professionals generally avoided patterned lifestyles since that made it easy to predict their actions and track them. It was a clear summer morning. The vibrant sky was akin to a canvas of wait com conflict, whatever. While the remnants of the silence of the night cooled my morning thoughts. I casually walked around the garden, uh, thoroughly checking the edges of the lawn and below the trees, just to be sure. I also looked around the dorm.
うん。やはり、といったところか。
Mm. I had gotten curious about the identity of the person clad in black. I encountered what I've encountered her in one of my nightly my nightly outings, and her skill greatly impressed me. How does he know it's her already? Hold up. If I remember right, he might. I could swear. If I remember right, he touched her boobas or whatever, or maybe something. I wait. I knew she was a woman. She tried to hide it, but I could tell by her movements and form as she was also young. Additionally, additionally she had a skill to sneak by the academy's superb security and had downright inhuman prowess. No, physical prowess, my bad. Few fit all those criteria. Oh yeah, okay. For some reason, right? For some reason, my darn computer has been like it's like for some reason it I get for some reason the screen it like touches it like okay it just for some reason it like keeps on poking or it's like for some reason the AI thinks I'm touching a screen or whatever. I I don't understand that. Mm, whoopsie. Anyway, I don't get it, but hopefully that shit don't start up. Anywho, uh, considering the tightness of of the security, okay. Consider the tightness of security. She likely resides. She likely resided within its walls, which made her a high level HMI. Mm. Even among the 200 HMIs at the academy, those with such immense physical prowess were few and far between. Mm. Although it was possibly although it was entirely possible to hide a halo, you couldn't fully hide your skill, for that was something that had been etched into you and become part of you. Oh gosh, about small text. You didn't have to look at you didn't have to even you didn't have to look at athletes to know that. Even something as simple as walking defined the effectiveness and results depending on how skilled you were, and it showed in your everyday life whether you liked it or not.
これもか。
Okay, wait, the tree surrounding the dorm had traces no normal person would have noticed. There were footprints like marks at uh, at at the 3 meter height. They were likely they likely been there. They likely been left there as the person traveled up and down the way, up and down over and over. Mm. From the surface to the tree to the dorm's roof. The movements might have seemed nonchalant, but they were actually done to avoid the security layer. The amount of precise made it clear that was the work of a professional. Tama, it was what okay wait that meant their true identity was Tama. Upon hearing and sensing someone approach, I cut my thoughts short, but in a second, I started pretending to be a mere student enjoying some morning exploration.
今朝
Tiggy,
は早いね、成田。
Tiggy, this motherfucker. As like I thought, the person was Tiggy, the 7th Tuar who joined us right as Mitri left half a month ago. While I seemed to be a student merely exploring, Tiger appeared more like a proud artist wandering around in search of inspiration.
ふむ。大義こそ今朝は早いな。
This man, yo, this man is up here.
早いというよりも、今が帰りなんだ。理事長、父に呼び出されていてね。
Okay,
何やら悪巧みかね。
a conspiracy. Oh yes, Tiger appeared unfazed by my blatant provocation. A discovery I made a discovery I made from his attitude surprised me. This man was generally detached and didn't care about anything, but suddenly he seemed somewhat sad.
何事かあったのか。
Oh boy.
わかるかい？これでも、隠し事は得意なつもりだったのに。君には、どういうわけかお見通しらしい。
Nah, man, you're not that good. You're not him.
相性というやつだろう。そういうこともある。それで何があった？
成田になら先に話しておいてもいいだろう。昨夜不幸があった。空子の家族に。僕は早朝から彼女にそれを伝えなければならない。
Oh
正
yes.
直、
Oh, that's what
気が重いよ。
we murdered her. We murdered Papa. That's right. We murdered Papa. The news didn't surprise me in the least. After all, she the actor had crafted that very tragedy. Excuse me. Uh, I knew Kuro was precise enough to notice that Shin's death was a message from the Avenger, and I also expected him to also call Taigi to discuss their next steps. What I didn't expect, however,
空子を起こしてきた方がいいのかね。
なるべくショックは与えたくないんだ。そうでなくても、HMI というのは繊細だ。
okay, that was Taigi's honesty. Was Taigi on? Was Taigi's honesty? There was no falsehoods. There was no falsehood or pretense in his words. Taigi actually grieved the tragedy that had fallen over Sorghum. Yeah, Taigi and Sorghum were childhood friends. Under normal circumstances, his grief would appear natural. Would appear natural. However, Taiki was Kuro's son. Him joining the Atoires and entering the dorm was no doubt his decision. To the Academy, Soroko, the other crowns, excuse me, the other crowns and everything else were just pieces on a board. Or perhaps Soroko and Taigi were actually close enough to be considered to wait. Or perhaps Soroko and Taigi were close enough to to be considerate of each other, and much like they had been 7 years ago.
大義、それは。
I noticed him holding something that didn't seem to fit him.
ん？ああ、これはつい持ってきてしまったんだね。
It was a small paper crane. Not much paper. Not much paper was used for it. It seemed to have been made with used paper, so it looked ultimately ordinary. Wait a minute. Hold up. Didn't we? Okay, wait a minute. Didn't we do paper crowns in somebody's route? Like, I could swear we did paper crowns in like Error's route. Wait a minute. I could swear we did that. Paper crowns, right? Or it was in somebody's route. It was an Error's route. We did cranes. Um, I think it was in a laboratory or whatever, right? Excuse me. Mm. I still remember my late sister making those quite often. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe it's not Soroko he likes. The sister? Oh, you bastard. Oh, you bastard. I can't have that. No. You are not taking the sister. I will not let you. She always made cranes, never flowers or animals. She claimed all smiles that she liked things with wings. Okay, whenever she started making them, I and the other girl eventually grew bored and stopped, but she continued the job for ages. Excuse me. Um, only the other male friend, only the other male childhood friend had ever remained behind to assist her. Oh, you bastard! You are not having our sister.
それで時の先生とも相談したんだが、空子はしばらく休学させることになるだろう。
Ah, he placed the origami crane in his pocket.
本人の確認も取っていないのに、急な話だな。
Yeah, she's gonna need it.
2週間か3週間か、彼女が落ち着くまでの期間だよ。昨夜、空子の実家が火災を起こして、両親とも亡くなった。家には戻せないから、しばらくは講義を休ませて、研究棟で療養させるつもりだ。
両親ともかね。
ああ、死んだ。空子は、きっと両親の死を悲しむだろう。
Well, I could have swore we only killed one. Indeed, Soroko would be saddened by the news and shed tears, but even her grief wasn't enough to shake Shina's natural resolve.
空子なら、ここにいたいと言うかもしれない。
Soroko seemed extremely considerate of others, so it was likely that she wouldn't want to trouble anyone.
そうだね。事情を説明したのはそれもある。成田、君は空子のことがよくわかっている。彼
Yeah,
女はあれで、とても強情なところがあってね。
yeah, she
昔か
can.
ら。
Yeah, she can.
昔から。
だけど今回は。
わかった。ことがことだ。確かに空子には休養が必要になるだろう。私も空子を解き伏せる力になろ
Maybe it's not going to end as bad as I think.
感謝するよ、成田。
Uh, after forming a fake, relaxed smile, he gave me a sharp look, as though to gauge me. His gaze felt akin to a poisoned dagger, which conflicted with the consideration he'd shown for Soroko. I merely pretended that I didn't notice it.
う。しかし、一夜にして両親とも失ってしまうとは、まさにこの世は投げられたコインのごとしだ。不幸はどこに潜んでいるか知れたものではない。
Yeah.
彼のことを知っているかい？
After a pause, Taiki pulled out his device and showed me a photo of a man. I did know him. It was Takashi, wait, wait, Tashin, Hosen, wait, one of the foolish traders and the star of my first act of revenge tragedy.
この男がどうかしたのかね？空子の件と関係が？
A man's playing deaf, smart,
ま
dumb.
だ何とも言えないんだが、気にかかることがあって調べているんだよ。成田、見覚えはあるかい？
What did Taiki intend to accomplish by showing me that picture? That seems weird all of a sudden. Expression, breathing, mannerisms. I felt Taiki measured each and every one of my reactions. I thought it was best that way. I thought best to assume that he would suspect me. Taiki had already joined the Etoiles due to their suspicions of infiltrating within the academy. From then on, I had to walk a thin rope akin to a spider's web. If I showed him a single action that didn't fit the situation, he says his suspicions would transform into convictions.
遠目に見たことはある。学園の周りをうろついていた。
So I played a role, melting into the role of Shinatri. I continued to laugh wet.
一度だけ見た相手をよく覚えているね。
この場所の空気にそぐわぬ男だ。忘れようもない。エルにも尋ねてみてはどうかね。ちょうど一緒にいた。彼女もおそらく覚えているだろ
確かに、彼はいかにもそぐわない男には違いないね。
Just as Taiki was suspicious of Shinanatri was also suspicious of Taiki. Was he an agent of Kofumi, or I mean, we saw in Tama's route though at the end of it or whatever that he was sitting there, like wanting to kill good old daddy.
う。その男がどうかしたのかね？
So Taiki clearly has an agenda with okay, Taiki clearly has an agenda, I guess, but I mean, I think okay, I think it's because maybe he's trying to do something. Like I think it's something that he's trying to do, and he's trying to get rid of, I guess, good old dad, and maybe the non-conspicuous way he can.
死んだ。いや、殺された。そして、空子の両親も殺された。
殺されたとは、なんとも大事だ。では、その男の死と空子の両親の死に何か関係があると？
かもしれない。
Perhaps.
真実は遥かに遠く、未だ人の手にはなしか。この残酷な世界ほど謎めいた場所は他になく、我々はいつもありえない真実を求めて叫び狂う。
Lovely.
詩人だね。
Huh. Taxi Hosen's corpse must have remained, but what's wait okay wait Taxi's corpse must have remained hidden. Yet Taiki claimed that he's been killed. Taiki wasn't the type to half bake his approach either, which meant he already which meant he was already certain of an enemy's existence. Taiki and Kofumi were backed by the powers of 200 HMIs at the academy. If those powers were wielded well, they could acquire proof that was out of any normal human's reach. If I had to I had to remain ever vigilant. Vigilant. However, I knew I wouldn't be able to hide my identity for long. Sooner or later, they would discover the truth. But it was far too early for that. If Shidenatri was exposed already, all my work would have been rendered moot. Crow was a cunning and Crow was cunning and careful. Approaching and defeating him wasn't easy. In addition to that, he was backed by a giant community that was above all laws. They were fearsome and had far reach, yet seemed to have no solid shape. That was the very wait, that was also the reason why Shinonatari hadn't defeated Kuro yet. After betraying the Makotos, Kuro had used the wealth and connections he acquired to become a member of that mysterious group. I heard that. Well, I heard that he was even an important part of a few a few people leading it, who were only known as the committee. The wait, the academy was Kuro's stronghold, but the academy was Kuro's stronghold, his artful masterpiece, and a fortress that kept any enemies at bay. However, no matter how great a fortress was, wait, no, wait, however, no, wait, however, no matter how great a fortress, it was weak to attacks from the inside. The sense of protection that came from having large walls made people lower their guards, and I planned to take advantage of that fact. And so, I had to keep my identity hidden while I looked for a means to court him. I don't know, man.
死はどこにでもある。突然に訪れ去っていく。彼らの儚い終わりに哀れみを抱こ
Yeah.
そしてどんな死も等しく無残で悲劇的だ。ムクロの目が開くことはなく、彼らの祈りが花咲くこともない。成田は死の重さを知っているかい？
We got the death of our sister and our parents. I did. I only survived the tragedy 7 years ago by chance. If fate hadn't been so conspicuous back then, I would have become an empty, hateful corpse.
う。生き死にとは人の手の届かざるところだ。聖者は裏切られ刑に倒れ、万夫不当の英雄も流れ屋に死に、悪辣無道の罪人が一生を至福とともに生き延びて幕を引く。
Oh yeah.
信仰者は神の公平を謳うが、それは公平に無関心ということだよ。人間が目に入った塵の形にいちいち気を回したりはしないように。もとより人とは罪と共に生きるもの。天の主が善なるものだというのなら、その目から見た人は等しく散りあくた。多少の罪の高など些細なものに違いない。故に死は神の手が下される正しさではなく、どこまでも人の世のものだ。死が理不尽というなら、それはこの世界が理不尽であるという、それだけのことだろう。
Ever the poet, everybody, and ever the realist.
彼、花園の死もまた理不尽なのかな。
本人にとっては理不尽に違いない。死に値する罪人たちであれ、おとなしく裁きに服す者はごく稀だ。人は誰しも己を価値あると信じている。
Everyone's a
そ
poet.
れで彼は何者だったのだね。
父の帝黒船の古い知人さ。それほど親しくしていたわけでもないんだが、こんな死に方をするとさすがに気になるというわけだよ。
うん、さもありなんだ。
そろそろ僕は行くよ。空子も起きてくる頃だろう。
Okay. Okay. We're getting the understanding that that this shit's starting to pick up. Like they starting to look pretty freaking close here.
何かあればできる限り手を貸そう。
After giving me a half nod, Taigi walked toward the dorm. Shi's naturally identity remained hidden, but Taigi certainly suspected me. The moment when I was exposed seemed close at hand. Taigi suddenly turned around as if he forgot something.
ところで、音無作のことだが。
What about Saki?
サクがどうかしたのかね。
What's wrong?
死は思わぬところから訪れる。
Okay. Uh, Kagi spoke those words like a blackbird of ill omen or a poet reading a tragedy. Um,
それは噂に聞いた予言とやらか。帝大義。
それじゃ、僕は行くとするよ。
okay. Um, Kagi left without giving me a proper answer. He warned me that Saki was in danger. Regardless of it, regardless of it, it was a result of his halo or not. It meant the same thing. Saki had gotten too close to the darkness behind Mitri's disappearance. She stared into the abyss, but far too long. Taigi didn't even have to warn me, since I already knew that. If I didn't stop Saki, her life was in danger.
あなたなら相手が竜でも虎でも挑むんでしょ？
Ah, lovely Saki, y'all. So adorable. I clenched my hand a few times to get a better feel of it. Saki's heat from last night still lingered, reminding me the the graceful, di- wait, diligent, fleeting girl. Those small shoulders of hers supported the academy as a whole. Them
だが、
big boobas, though.
侍を止めるはがたしだ。
Yo, them boobas is what really did the work. What does the work. My bad. Saki Akutanashi stood up and acted out of consideration for her friend, who stood a chance of halting such a noble act. The small clouds floated through the morning sky above felt akin to tiny boats. Yay, Bodhi! Sorry, you did not need to hear that. Pretend you never heard that. Okay, wait. Lunch seemed the same as ever. The events academy the events cafe at the academy appeared far more pristine than the one from Saki's previous school. She looked around, the nostalgia mixed with the knowledge of the dramatic changes in her life, and she made a sign. Unlike at our previous school, she didn't have to ask a friend to secure a spot. Pushes through waves of students, or drop her shoulders after waiting in line and not getting what she wanted. The Academy's cafe could serve the students even if all 200 of them showed up at the same time. Lunch was handled like a buffet, but you could also ask for different menus, and the taste matched the taste of the best restaurants in the world. Oh my goodness, yo, we got it good up in here. Mm. When Saki had first arrived at the academy, there were so few there were so few students that you could count them, that you count them all on your fingers, and there were some buildings uh, that were still under construction. The student cafeteria had been built yet, so she had to use one in a research building.
ここへ来てから3年と少しか。
Looking back on it, her days at the academy had resembled a glorious dream. Saki had assumed she wandered into a paradise from a fairy tale. The princess, where the princess had been affiliated with a sleeping curse, but then a prince on the white steed saved her from with a kiss, and they lived happily ever after. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna cut it here. Honestly, thank you all for coming. It's a bit early, but um, hold up. Let's see. tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do some more Capstella. I'm gonna hopefully try and finish that soon. Um, though not really. I don't think I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna. I think we'll at least be able to finish Capstella by the end of the month. I think Riddle Joker should be freaking definitely getting done with that like freaking by the end of the month. I'd say at least I can get that by the end of the month. Um, but that's a uh, 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 good. That's about it. I tried Secret Agent yesterday. Um, I got that on. I haven't done White Album and I didn't do what's the other game? I forgot the other game. Um um Food foot I think it's, two what was it two loves at a time or whatever. Um I haven't tried those two yet. So that's something. I'm gonna try those probably later on today. But I will say thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you all next time. Oh, and if you don't mind, please like and subscribe and all that stuff. And I hope you enjoyed.